This is probably going to make some of you very mad, but today I want to talk about why non-marginalized people, specifically thin people, don't belong in the body positivity movement. Thin people have turned this movement into being about self-love, and that really just highlights how much privilege you have. This movement was never supposed to be about self-love. It was supposed to be about dismantling systems of oppression, specifically racism, fat phobia, and ableism. We can't love ourselves out of oppression. I'm fat and disabled. Just because I love myself, which I do, doesn't mean that I'm somehow shielded from fat phobia or ableism. Start your own movement, call it self-love, but when you call what you're doing body positivity and it's not, you are drowning out voices of the marginalized who have gone unheard for much too long. You're welcome to be an ally, but that means accepting feedback about problematic things that you say and centering the voices of the marginalized, not your own.
Yeah, I got about 15 guns at home, something like that. That's cool. I own a couple myself. I think we need to get these homeless off the street, you know? Yeah, we do need to get them off the street and find them home. I can't stand Biden. He's such a god-awful president. I'm right there with you. He's a terrible president. I'm really hoping in 2024 things will really, start to change, because that's when Trump and JF... This one's on me. I should have known better.
You can cancel your Spotify account, but because of the recent backlash that Spotify is experiencing, they've made it more difficult to cancel your subscription. But here's how you can do it. You can't do it through any app. Instead, you'll need to access your Spotify account through a web browser on your smartphone, tablet, or computer. Go to spotify.com/account and log in. In Account Overview, scroll down to Your Plan and hit Change Plan. Next, scroll down to Available Plans and hit Cancel Premium. Finally, hit Yes, Cancel to finish the cancellation process. This won't delete your Spotify account, but instead cancel your paid subscription and knock you down to the free tier. You can then just delete the app and stop using it, which hurts their overall market value. If for some reason you don't see any option to change your plan, that could mean you're getting your subscription as part of a package from another company, like a mobile or internet provider.
Drill, but it's just really depressing statistics.
Look, in 50 years, how many offspring I have put into the ground? 40. How many species lost and never found due to global warming? Almost 1/3. All plants, mammals and birds, they're gone extinct. They're gone extinct. I hold Mariah, my chopper sing. I'm a pariah.
Ariana really out here collecting races like Pokemon cards. I wonder which next one she'll unlock.
I wanna be your friend forever. I'll kiss the guys. What a super weird thing to say that came out of nowhere.
So, I don't mean to, alarm anybody or try to fearmonger, but hear me out. My fellow POC in America, we need to hope and pray to whatever God, arbitrary figure in the sky you believe in, whatever, that Kyle Rittenhouse goes to jail. Think about it. When you listen to a lot of, the shit that the right says on, forums, message boards, behind closed doors, it is very clear that they have murder fantasies, and that they dream of the day in which a left-wing person will give them the means or the excuse to kill them. We've seen the video that circled around of the guy asking Charlie Kirk, when do we get to kill people? When do we get to use the guns? Kyle Rittenhouse is going to inspire a shit ton of conservatives and just general white supremacists to open fire on peaceful protesters and just kill people of color because of white genocide. I'm legit scared, y'all. I'm legit scared.
So Charlie Kirk said this yesterday, and as a leftist, I might get a lot of flack for this, but he's right. He got executed by cops long before seeing trial.
I just added bug to my list of pronouns, so here's a very quick tutorial on how to use bugs pronouns in sentences. Okay, let's go.
I'm meeting up with my friend Moth later. Bug just dyed Bug's hair and it's this super cool green color right now. I think we're gonna go to Bug's house and play some video games. And then I think Bug said that Bug wanted to go to the store by Bug's self. So I'm gonna head out after that and then maybe we'll get to hang out another time. I love hanging out with Moth. Bug is a super cool friend and I'm so glad that Bug hangs out with me. So yeah, if you guys have any questions, that is how you use Bug's self pronouns, and I'm always willing to answer questions about my pronouns.
Does anyone else think that it's interesting that history lessons, when it comes to black and white people, you know, like engaging, it starts from slavery, but it doesn't begin when the Moors came over and brought over soap and alcohol and taught the Europeans, that you don't live with livestock in your house, where they taught them astrology, where they taught them about sewer systems, where they taught them mathematics. It doesn't talk about when the Greeks went to Egypt, because Egypt had the oldest universities in the whole world, and learned things like philosophy. Also, there's always this distinction made about Egypt and the rest of Africa, when the oldest Ankh was found in South Africa, meaning that things that were happening in Egypt were happening throughout the rest of Africa, but the Egyptians just wrote it down. It's also weird how Europe and America have a monopoly on meds and medication and research, when things like C-sections were perfected in Africa whilst people were still dying in Europe.
I hate that straight people have taken the incredibly complex and nuanced thing that is the queer experience and stolen it, oversimplified it, bastardized it, commodified it, and then they try to straight-splain it back to us as if they know more about it than we do. I hate that we have to make ourselves either entirely invisible or shove our identities into neat little stereotypes that they can easily digest in order for them to take us seriously. I hate having to infantilize and handhold straight people constantly in order to reduce the chances of a temper tantrum and the subsequent revocation of their support. I hate the idea of the ever patient, ever willing to teach queer that straight people seem to think encapsulates all of us. I am not your fucking encyclopedia. I am far too busy living my own life to attempt to educate you for hours on end without monetary compensation, or at least without the insistence constantly that I'm not being as nice as you want me to be. If you're so interested, do a modicum of research yourself, and if you won't even do that, you're not actually interested.
I'm not body positive, I'm radical self-acceptance, and this is why. The idea of body positive is that all bodies are beautiful, which is not true. All bodies are valid, and there should not be any emphasis placed on beauty in order for somebody to feel worth. Saying that all bodies are beautiful doesn't dismantle beauty, it actually just places more emphasis on beauty itself and makes it sound like you have to be beautiful in order to be worth something, which isn't true. Ugly and beautiful should be like neutral terms. It shouldn't matter what you look like at all. Your worth is not determined by your appearance. That's why I'm radical self-acceptance, because I accept myself radically no matter what I look like. It doesn't matter. I get the idea of body positive, and I think it has good intentions, but I just feel like it's very disingenuous and not very helpful, and I just don't think it's the right way to go about self-acceptance.
Pendejo! Pendejo! Pendejo!
This behind me is St. George's Wharf in London. This pathway that I'm on is public space, but this park, if you can call that a park, isn't. It is for the use of the residents only, but as you can see, there are no residents in the park because it's a shit park. And yet, I can guarantee that this park fulfills perfectly its role. It adds value to the surrounding properties, not by providing a pleasant space for the residents, but by asserting the exclusiveness of this complex. The only function of this area is to be a marker of social segregation. It makes the residents feel superior, and it sends the message to everyone else that they're not worthy of that space. This is one of the many ways in which the space can be violent in this country and reinforce and affirm social segregation.
There's an opinion you have that might piss some people off.
I don't really care about performative male allyship. Hear me out. So I've seen some feminist creators who I really admire be very critical of men who are just using feminism on TikTok as a way of getting clout and getting attention. And I definitely think that happens a lot. But I'm not sure I really care. The argument is that if it's performative, then it's superficial and they're probably not genuinely good guys and they don't deserve our attention. Also, quite a lot of feminists warn us about centering men in feminist discourse because it's just a way of basically deflecting the attention away from women talking about women's problems. I'm not disagreeing with any of that. My take on this is that I don't think we're really in a position to be fussy yet. We need men on board with feminism. We need men talking about feminism if we're going to be able to bring it forward into the 21st century. There's an alarming number of people, men and women, who think that feminism just should have died after we were allowed to go into the workplace. There's still too much work that needs to be done to be censoring and gatekeeping men who want to engage with feminism.
How are we supposed to normalize men and non-binaries wearing makeup and wearing any clothing they want if you guys sexualize them anytime they do it?
The woman was too stunned to speak.